You may know them for their wood glues, but did you know Titebond also has a complete selection of construction adhesives? Designed for a variety of applications, Titebond's adhesives make any building or home improvement project a breeze with their high-performing and durable formulas. These adhesives are trusted by the professional, providing squeak-free subfloor installations, long-lasting retaining walls, and even fastener-free feature walls. Check out Titebond's construction adhesives at titebond.com, including their newest award-winning adhesive, Tight Grab Plus. This question comes from Jason. Hello, FHB Podcast. Thank you for the wonderful show. Incidentally, I'm not a pro, just a guy remodeling my house and only subscribe occasionally, but I would happily pay to subscribe to this podcast. I imagine this isn't the first time someone has relayed this sentiment to you in this strange and inscrutable media landscape we exist in.
Gotta stop you there, Patrick. Gotta stop Jason there.
I was going to say, just get a web membership, right?
Get a web membership. It supports everything we do. Nothing confusing about it, Jason.
He says it's a great source of information and entertainment that I receive via noise-blocking earbuds as I bang, screech, and rattle about the house. I have a question about interior wood finishes and susceptibility to ultraviolet rays. First, here's what's happened with my kitchen cabinets. I remodeled my kitchen with walnut plywood cabinetry, finished with oil-based polyurethane. There are a few areas that receive direct sunlight, and they're fading noticeably after about a year. More concerning is that the poly is degrading. I'll eventually replace much or all of the cabinetry with pre-finished plywood, which I understand has significant resistance to UV rays. We'll get back to that in a little bit. This will be a large project, which is probably a few years down the road. I may paint the cabinets in the meantime, and installing a window shade to block the sun's rays is another near-term project that will help. I've also been looking into UV blocking window films, which is something that can be completed in just a few minutes to prevent things from getting worse. Direct sunlight wasn't on my radar as I was planning these cabinets, and it's a bummer about the UV degradation. But hey, I do enjoy doing this stuff, especially during the moments when I get to have you fellows as companions. And now that I actually have access to pre-finished ply, it will be a lot easier this time around, not having to manually brush on a finish. It will probably look nicer as well. After all this preamble, here's my question. I'll be replacing all the trim in the house with maple, and I'm concerned that the trim will receive direct sunlight, especially the window trim. Using pre-finished plywood isn't an option here. What I found online points to spar varnish as the best solution for wood exposed to sun, assuming you don't want to paint it, which is best. But are home builders, finish carpenters really putting spar varnish on trim? This isn't an invincible finish and has to be reapplied every few years. Surely people with such trim, I'm thinking of people with craftsman homes and lots of natural wood, aren't going to such trouble and expense, or should they be? What's your experience with interior wood finishes and how it's affected by direct sunlight? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Thanks again for the exceptional show. Jason in Madison, Wisconsin. So is there a durable, clear finish that holds up to UV, Brian?
Well, I don't know if I can answer that question directly. There's going to be finishes that hold up to UV better than others, but UV light, sunlight degrades everything. It's like, think about the exterior of a house and all the products that we have now to do waterproofing, right? Think of all the stuff we do behind the siding now, all the WRBs and flashing tape and all of that stuff that's so good at waterproofing. Why do we need to put siding over that stuff? Because the only thing it can't stand up to is the sunlight. Sunlight it affects everything, and it certainly does. If not degrade, create discoloration in finishes often. And that's true of painted finishes and clear finishes as well. If you have the opportunity to really, I think it's not as easy to see in painted finishes, but the sunlight affects everything. And I can share a simple story about my oiled wood floors in my house that I have, which was a bit of an experiment. I wanted to try an oiled wood floor finish, and I love it for lots of reasons. But one of the benefits that people who like oiled wood floor finishes talk about is the fact that they're easy to refinish, right? You have a stain, you can simply sand it out, oil that area, the finish will blend back into the surrounding wood. So unlike a stained or polyed floor, you don't have to do, you don't have to refinish big whole areas. Well, it's all true. I fixed some stains on the floor recently by sanding out the stain and applying new oil. Here's what it doesn't change: the darkening of the wood from the sunlight. So you take away that darkening, and you now have a lighter floor. It's amazing. Pick up any of the small rugs in my house, and the floor is blonde. Everywhere else now, the floor is dark brown from 3 years of sunlight. So I don't know that try as we might, I don't think we will completely stop the changes in wood and the look of wood and wood, in clear finishes from sunlight. Sure, is spar varnish going to be more durable than, especially like a marine grade spar varnish can be more durable and stand up to UV better than off the shelf poly? Probably.
What do you think, Ian?
Over time, it will still degrade, I think.
Conversion varnish.
This is chemically cured, right?
Get yourself a spray gun and get really comfortable mixing the two parts together and thinning them out and spray it all in your garage. It'll be horrible, but it's going to give you the best lasting product. Like Brian, I've defaulted to Rubio Monocoat oil on all the furniture that I build. It's on the cabinets that I built for the house, and every couple of years, I just sand the surface down and recoat it. And so far, my walnut dining table that sits in the southern sunlight for most of the day, as long as I remember to occasionally spin the table around so that the half that doesn't get a lot of sun gets switched into the half that gets sun. It gets sanded every year or two and refinished. It looks fine.
To Brian's point, UV affects everything, and clear finishes, because they let the most light through, are the most challenging to make durable. And I think you touched on something, Jason, when you mentioned, pre-finished plywood has greater longevity when exposed to UV. And I'm pretty sure because the machine coating process that these panels are produced uses a UV cured finish, and the stuff is as hard as a coffin nail. So, I'm guessing that holds up better. But, Jason and I talked a little bit in email ahead of the show, and if he's looking for the material not to darken, I think that is a fool's errand. You're just never going to prevent that. It's just going to happen, and you have to learn to like it. But he was talking more about the clear finish degrading, getting rough, looking hazy, and I think you either have to just plan a maintenance regimen with an oil renewable finish, or try to get the best UV cured or some other catalyzed finish that is just tougher. And if you can stand to have any pigment in it, I think that would help it last longer. And oil products, which are kind of ambery, especially after a little time, seem to hold up better than the water-based ones in my experience, because all my cabinets are maple, and they've turned yellow, but the finish seems to be holding up pretty good. Yeah. And where their pots hanging, as you guys mentioned, it's lighter under those areas of the cabinet.
Yeah, the most difficult remodels we do are the ones that have houses full of maple trim with people that love the way it looks. Yeah. And then you have to figure out how to tell them the new stuff will look like that in 10 or 15 years, but it's going to take that long. Our main flooring guy, he will come in and carefully demo a old maple floor, and then he will save it for patchwork that he has to do to other old maple floors in the city of Madison. So that tells you something, that somebody's willing to carefully demo an old wood floor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be really happy to be his customer, because those patches, as Brian was talking about, are super obvious. White versus kind of caramel or light brown color. I looked on Fine Woodworking's website, and they recommend General Finishes, which is a good company. A water-based product is their favorite. I think it's more, their analysis was related to how easy it is to work with and the quality of finish when you're done. I think shading this stuff is the best. I would try the window film if it really bugs you, or I would, be prepared to just change it or sand it and refinish it every few years.
One of the things that, in my opinion, people don't do enough of when they do these different finishes is actually thin the finish back. A lot of people will just try and put it on straight out of the can, and many of these not quite homeowner grade, maybe lower level pro grade finishes are still made to be thinned down. And most people don't do that, or they skip that step. When I've sprayed conversion varnish or catalyzed lacquer, the guy that taught me how to do it taught me to thin it back by 90% and then spray lots of thin coats on. And if you do that, you can make a lot of coats on a piece of furniture very quickly, and you won't get any of the crazing or the hazing between the coats, because you're spraying mostly lacquer thinner at that point.
If y'all have experience with a finish like Jason is seeking, I would love to hear about it. One of the great things about the podcast is the help we get from our community of listeners. So I hope you'll write in if you have experience with clear finishes and how to make them look good.
But yeah, get a window shade and get your UV sticker for the window. Like that seems to me like a real easy, maybe not fix, but mitigation for sure.
It does make your, view out the window look kind of cloudy. So I don't know if that's a good trade-off. I don't know if it would be for me.
Yeah.